One of the best ways to get started in real estate development is to start with one small project. You can either buy a house and renovate it and sell it, or you could build a spec house from the ground up, or a small commercial building, whether it's triple net or a build for you, build to suit kind of thing, where you find the land and you find a tenant and you develop the property to suit their needs. You build the building to suit their needs and you lease it back to them and you retain ownership. So those are some of the ways to start in real estate development. And what you do is you start with one, start small, and then you work your way up and you scale from there. So the key is you got to get started. You need to educate yourself. You need to understand the market. You need to understand what your lease rates are, what your sales prices are going to be, what the costs of construction are, some of the best ways to do that. I get questions all the time about how much it costs a square foot to build, custom versus spec and things like that. So number one is to understand the difference between custom and spec. There really is no difference in terms of the type of construction. Spec build is building on speculation that you're going to sell it, whereas a custom build is you're building for somebody. So the house can have the same features, qualities, elements, finishes, whether it's custom or spec, it can be identical. The difference is one, you're building for yourself to sell. The other is you're building for somebody else that they're going to live in, or they're going to rent, or they're going to own on their land. So that's the difference between custom and spec. So costs are all over the map. Price per square foot, it all depends on the region you're in, topography of the land, permits, fees, things like that. Your furnishings, your fixtures, your equipment, if there's furnishings involved, your finishes, all of those things can affect the price per square foot on a project. The other thing is the larger the project, oftentimes the less it can be per square foot. The smaller the project, the more it can be per square foot, because a kitchen is a kitchen, and you could have the same kitchen in a $300,000 home as you have in a $200,000 home, and the $300,000 home could be 2,000 square feet. The $200,000 home could be 1,200 square feet. The kitchen is the same cost. So your price per square foot is going to go up on the smaller house, go down on the bigger house. So there's a lot of factors to consider in terms of cost per square foot. It's not something that you want to hang your hat on. You need to know what that is in terms of resale value, but in terms of cost to build, things like that, it's going to be very dependent on what you're doing, where you're doing it, and how you're doing it. So that's really how you get started in development. Start with one project, start with something small that you can understand, and get out there and make it happen. Start with a renovation, a flip, start with building ground up, start with a build to suit. There's a lot of different ways, commercial and residential, that you can get in the game, but the key is to get in the game.